Welcome to Pro Bull Talk, where it's all talk and no bull. Get ready to slide and ride.
All right, let's go, boys. Hustle. Come on now. Let's go. Woo. Lay down now. Go.
This episode is brought to you by Sutherland Logistics.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Pro Bull Talk. Here today we got Wren, Cody Hart, and Blake Skaggs. There we go.
Yeah.
He's easy to forget.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And today we got a wonderful guest today. We got the one and only Dennis Davis. The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, for sure.
Drives a white horse.
Yeah.
In the parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah, brand new, was it Freightliner?
Peterbilt.
He went all the way, didn't
Yeah.
he? Peterbilt. Yes, sir.
Make sure I get my picture in that before he leaves.
Yeah, you're already drooling.
Yeah.
You need a napkin?
Blake, you're
Yeah,
good
I
at
did.
catfishing.
So, man, how you been? What you been up to?
I've been good. Just up and down the road a bunch. Just finished up in Vegas here a few weeks ago, and since then, got home and just kind of hit the ground running. And here I am back on the road again up here in Ada. So I was close to you guys, so it was good to kind of come on over and get this done.
You bet. I mean, we had you on the other podcast before, and it got turned around, and we're not even going to go into that. That was a bad deal, but it was a great episode. I can't believe it's not going to get aired, but I wanted to definitely get you back on here with us, and we get you out there because, man, you've got a wonderful story, really cool story, a lot of good background, and y'all just bought a new bull. Your plans are you're going to the big show, and you're not playing with the bull teams.
Oh, you're done.
I mean, you're into the bull teams a lot, but you've got another goal. You want to get up there, up to the top at a premier level.
Yes, I've definitely just, all in with the bull teams, but, I've got, bull owners or people interested in owning bulls. They want to play at the top level. And so for so long, we've tried to play at the top level, and I just never could justify going out getting some of these big time bulls and them not getting chosen and just kind of standing around the ranch. But we finally got one in the door, that Twisted Steel we got from Cooper and Skaggs, and so far really enjoying it. That bull went to the finals. We took him to the finals. They're the team series finals, and he did pretty good. He was I think Alvidrez was like 88 on him, and kind of put the pressure on Lemmy where he had to ride. I think he had to be 86 or something. So that whole suspense type trilogy kind of deal, that was pretty cool. Yeah. So it worked out good.
Yeah. And, for a lot of people that don't know, a rider, a team bull is not necessarily one that plays at the elite level. Twisted Steel is probably won't ever be on a bull team because he's too much. It's hard to get a rider to ride him that far unless you draw an Andrew Alvidrez or somebody like that to get him rode. But you go to these team deals and there's just a different level of bull there. You know, and I hate the term rider friendly, but a lot of these team bulls are going to rider friendly, and just a good 20 and a half, 21 point spinners, or a 22 pointer that rides like a 20 and a half or something.
Well, you're looking for a ride, not a bull score.
Yeah.
And I think that was a great matchup. It probably couldn't have been a better matchup. I spent some time with Alvidrez because he was with me on some of that PR tour stuff around Vegas, and then coincidentally he drew him. And man, that guy, his mind is right. There's a bunch of talented, there's a bunch of talented guys out there. I mean, some guys that can set the world on fire, but when they're really mentally focused, I mean, you can go in and snap bulls like Twisted Steel and some of these other even better ones, without a problem because he's focused. So that worked perfect and from that respect. Yeah.
Well, how did Dana take it? He your partner Dana White, and how did he take it? Did he want him to win? Did he want the bull to win, or did he want Andrew to win? Was he happy that he rode him, or was he kind of like, oh man?
Well, I've never seen him get down about anything. I think he's always rooting for the bull first and foremost.
Right.
But I think the way everything was kind of put together and the way the draw worked out, and then Andrew was just there, you know, visiting with us, and he was introduced to Andrew, and it all worked out. So it's like, well, if anybody was gonna cover him, it might as well be this guy here. You know, and Andrew, he's a big UFC fan and wrestles and fights and exercise and does all that kind of stuff, and kind of got familiar with some of those people. So it worked out good. There was definitely not any, you know, disappointment from him. He was excited about it.
Well, that's good, because I know some guys will be like, man, I want you to buck him off. Or, you know, why did I buy that bull? I buy him and I buck him and then he gets rode or something. Because Twisted still hadn't had very many ridden.
He hadn't had many ridden, but then again, Dana, he's kind of on the outside looking in, but he's pretty versed in the industry. I mean, he knows that there's not a cowboy that can't be thrown, and there's not a bull that can't be rode. Right. I mean, so at the end of the day, you know, something's going to get rode sometimes, and there's going to be a lot of buck offs, because I think he's probably kind of got like a 95% buck off rate.
Yeah, I
want to say Andrew and maybe one other guys rode him.
Yeah, he's only been ridden a couple times.
Yeah,
I think there was someone rode him one time. He kind of stumbled and fell on all fours. It was like a DQ, like right there at the whistle. But other than that, it was Andrew and somebody else.
Yeah. That bull. Which way you think he's better, left or right?
I think he's better to the right.
He's better to the
right. I mean, he has a left trip that's just kind of good. You know, actually, when they took that break and kind of showed the little display up on the screen, they showed a couple of trips up there when he was on left, and he was just nice. I mean, just
more of that rider.
Yeah, just kind of mouth watering. I mean, he's just cranking him around the corner, but then when he gets, you know, when he just goes right, he just gets kind of wicked on you.
Got a little something more to him.
I think Andrew had the more rider friendly trip on him too.
Yeah. He did. I mean, and he was positioned. I mean, he didn't let the hoopla of it. He didn't look at the statistics and wasn't looking at all those old back videos. I mean, we talked and joked about it, you know, while we were there at the UFC headquarters, and Andrew was like, oh, man, I don't know who's going to get on him. But then after he found out he drew him, he just became a total different person, total focus, and just did everything right. I mean, when you watch the ride, I mean, everything was correct, you know. So.
Now, do you think, you know, because y'all did parade him around Vegas pretty much quite a bit, and did you think that might have taken a little out of that bull maybe? And nothing against that. No, I'm not going to take anything away from Andrew from riding him or anything. Right. But
well, I'd like to say yes, because I mean, obviously, you know, all that moving around will take a little bit out of you. But I mean, we had a 2-day trip, you know, coming up there. You know, there was a little slide on the weight part of it, and then we were there probably like a week, you know, almost a week and a half, you know, actually before he bucked. So it probably took a toll on him. But what I was really excited about is I just didn't see very much difference. Yeah. I mean, even the day before we loaded him up on the trailer, I put him in the sand pit, and he was bucking and kicking, and you know, just like he was at home. So I think this was just one of his trips, but I think he can handle that kind of deal. Not that that's what I want to do with him. You know.
Now, how long had you had him before you got him to Vegas?
Oh, probably 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah. So you were still kind of learning him a little bit too.
Yeah.
There is
for sure.
There's a niche there of getting the flank right and feeding habits and things like that. And I'm sure Heath and Bryce kind of lined you up on kind of how his appetite was and how the flank went and everything. But it's still you know, because I've seen, you know, HD and Dylan, I've seen them. Dylan will flank a bull, and then the very next week, HD will flank him, and it's two completely different trips, bulls, you know. So there is a little touch to that flank. There is a little science to it, I guess.
And it's gonna be a deal to kind of, I guess, get him to figure out what's best, because that bull has about 3 or 4 different trips. You know, he's not just dialed in on anything. And as far as his feed and nutrition go, I told them, I said, I want to do the exact same thing that y'all were doing, feed the exact same thing. So I was driving 4 hours one way to get his feed. Matter of fact, I drove to Stephenville, got a hotel, woke up the next morning, caught the feed store or the feed mill when they were opening it up, loaded up, and then came on home and went back to work.
Well, did you get to buck him before the finals?
No, I didn't. I did not want to do that.
That was the first, like when you bought him. or when y'all got him,
Yep.
did you put any trips on him before the finals or nothing? So you'd never. That was actually the first time you pulled a flank.
That was the first time I pulled a flank on him. Other than putting him in the chute and just kind of getting on him myself, just kind of checking his temperament. I I didn't put a trip on him.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't want to take the chance of him breaking a leg or something.
Right.
We just spent $100,000 on this bull or whatever, and.
I can understand when you get, it's like you get a new toy, you want to go play with it. Right?
Yeah.
And so he's putting it in the chute and he's getting on it. I can picture him. He's feeling him around like, oh yeah, I got me a new one. Yes,
That's a good
oh yeah, he's gonna look good on that truck.
Yeah, I was trying not to smile too hard about it, but that's exactly what it was. I can't wait to get that sucker in the chute. I want to get on it.
See what he feels like. Yeah.
Because I've heard some of the tips they gave me and some of the background part of it that, he kind of gets a little wild in there and kind of slings his head. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to see some of that stuff for myself to know how to what adjustments I need to make.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that just them acting up in there and slinging their head like that. I think that comes from like just how the rider carries himself in the bucket chute.
Yeah, and the majority of it, that's what a lot of it was. So when I got in there, I just tried some different things. And I understand the whole atmosphere was different, and I didn't expect him to do the same things with the rider, or with me, that he would do to a rider. Of course, I didn't have spurs or anything. I just kind of just went there just to set on him. But, some of the things I was told, for example, he's going to be throwing his head up, but you cannot put a rope around his neck. Don't touch him at all. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I want to feel him and see what is that I can't touch, or why can't I do this, or not that I'm not trying to take advice, but I just
you just need to know.
I need to see for myself.
Know your bull,
right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. He was everywhere in Vegas. Every time I see a social media post, Dennis was right there at the UFC headquarters everywhere. Getting out there.
Intermediate schools around the place, and they had me at the arena. Was it T-Mobile? Yeah, T-Mobile Arena at 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, I was all over the place.
That's going to help him though.
Yeah,
getting in that platform of PBR social medias everywhere. That's where he's wanting to go.
Yeah,
that's just building him up.
Absolutely.
I think,
and that was kind of my thing. I mean, when it comes down there, I don't think there's anybody out there that can just outwork me in any level of what we're doing out there, whether it's on the business part of it, the social media part of it, the actual hands-on, with the bulls. So whatever was needed out there, it was, to me, hey, I'm the man to do it. I'm the man. I can get out there and get it done regardless of what it is.
Yeah. Well, you are responsible for Dennis Davis bucking bulls.
Absolutely.
You are the man in charge, and the buck stops with you. And
right.
If you're going to do something, you might as well do it right and do it yourself.
Exactly.
So, besides Twisted Steel, what's the other 5 bulls you got?
Oh, we've got.
Take?
Yeah, there's a Cannon Cattle Company. That's one of my buddies, one of my partners. They have a few bulls. We've been taking them to the team deals, and they're pretty stout. And a guy name's Chris Cannon, and he's pretty high on those bulls. They buck off the guys real fast. They're always borderline high point bull of every event. So there's a couple of bulls on that end. And have Just for Kicks is one of my partners just around the corner. I got a couple of those bulls, here with me in Ada. One of them's Country Roads, like the big Brennel I was telling you about. That's around the right. He may not be the one for the trip, just because of the way they select bulls, but I do know that is something that you can take down the road anywhere, any rope, any size guy, and that bull's going to get it on regardless. But then there's just one Heart and Soul. He was like a big time Derby bull when he was a 3-year-old, and I mean he was, we were kicking butt all over the place. Yeah, I think his 4-year-old year he kind of got maybe a little overweight. I always thought maybe he was overweight because he was always a runt from jump. We've been having it ever since he was born. And we finally got him big. He just never stopped growing. So I saw some of that back off, some of that power he had and all that stuff kind of back off. So we've slimmed him down and bucked him a few times at different team deals, and he still got it. So we've drawn a lot off of him here in the last month or so. Dale Teeman and his wife down there in Industry, Texas did. So I have him here, and I'm expecting him to have a good trip. So I can get those bulls just kind of in line and get their good videos on them. I mean, because they can work. I'm not saying that because, I handle the bulls, but these are bulls that can truly just work. It's just a matter of,
right. They're dependable. And how many videos does it take normally to get one to that level up there?
If I was on the other end, it would just take me, 2 or 3 videos, but I know sometimes they require a lot.
Yeah.
And especially they require a lot of statistics. May not even take a look at the bull, just look at some of the scores. And if they look at some of the scores and some of the bad trips, this Heart and Soul bull definitely had a bad trip. What I used to do with this bull when he was young, I'd put him on the left and then put him back on the right. He was outstanding as a futurity bull, 90 plus. And then as he got older, we started kind of doing the same thing whenever he started falling off on the right. Well, I believe it was Little Rock, Arkansas last year. Yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas last year. And we decided to, put him on the left, and we're kind of skeptical about it.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't there. I had another event going on at the same time, but he was already entered. I'm just, well, I mean, how bad could it be? I mean, because he still bucked on the left. He just wasn't the best on the left. Yeah. And Vitor Lemmy, drew him. And I'm thinking, okay, well, man, this ought to be.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That sucker was headed straight back to Columbus, Texas. I mean, it just. It just took the wind out of me. I was somewhere. I was at another bull riding somewhere else, and I was watching on my phone behind the bucking chute. Oh. I thought they would probably have to resuscitate me not because I just lost confidence in the bull, is because of the decision. It's like, man, stick with your guns. Yeah. Stick with what you know.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to do something different in situations like that, especially if you've raised one. So.
Yeah. Well, being as we're sticking with situations, let's give a listen to our great sponsors. And they're the reason why we're here, so let's go have a word from them guys.
This episode is brought to you by Dennis Davis Bucking Bulls, Laura Cranch, Sutherland Logistics, Blake Skaggs Bucking Bulls, Print and Stitch Company, Benchmark Custom Buckles and Western Jewelry, SK Leather, Kirk Martin Logging, The Hat Shack, and Cactus Rodeo. Welcome back, guys. We appreciate you guys tuning in. And we want to thank our great sponsors once again. We just heard from them, and we're honored and privileged today. Dennis Davis is in studio with us, one of our great sponsors and supporters of the deal. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I know you. I know you from the Bull Team deals and the deals I get to do with LJ and Dennis Owens and all them guys.
Right.
But what got your start into loving bulls? Or did you ride some bulls back in the day? Did you fight some bulls maybe or something?
Well, first of all, I never fought bulls, not intentionally. But no, I rode bulls and rodeoed, kind of on the lower level pretty much all my life, ever since I was young. Coming up through high school, went to school on a track scholarship. They told me, hey, you can't do none of this cowboy crap here. So I took 4 years off and then went back to riding bulls again. So I got to my mid-30s, and a bull stepped in my back and broke my scapula. But by that time, I had, 2 kids not on the ground, but 2 children.
We understand.
I had 2 children, so I had to just kind of weigh my options. Like, man, I still want to ride bulls so bad. I'm still, going on the weekends, here and there, and you're still holding my own. And I just didn't want to stop, and I'd pass by, Billy James's place every day, going to work, and I just decided to just stop there one day and talk to him, and I knew him because I was through Southern Rodeo, PRCA rodeos and CPRA shows, and I just stopped there and talked to him because I just wasn't ready to quit yet, and that's how I kind of continued it.
Got the bug, and kept moving. That's me. I never was a great bull rider, but. I got that love early in life, and I loved it so much. I had to go figure something else out. What else can I do in rodeo to keep rodeoing every single weekend and being a part of that deal? I'm just curious how you come to the business, because we all know you as a stock contractor and running with them guys and handling bulls phenomenally and the background of them bulls. So I'm just curious.
Yeah. It's been. I say really exciting. It's been exciting pretty much my whole life. I've always just loved pretty much just everything about rodeo, but particularly in handling and training bulls, a lot of the results come from your work ethic. Yes. And I've always tried to feel like I can work and just be better than anybody. So I try to put that into the, into the bulls for better results. I mean, you can go down the road now and look at a bull and say, they're not putting too much work in it. But this one here, I got him. I know what he does. Kind of like we talked earlier about Twisted Steel. Just couldn't wait to get him in the chute just so I can fill him out.
Yep.
And going back to the Billy James thing, explain that. I mean, you were his handler, you're his main man. What the exclusive genetics? Like what happened to it?
Man, that was it was one of those deals that played into exactly what I've always wanted, was to get to a different level in the bull business. Of course, I've got a computer background. So when I went to visit Billy, he didn't have anything on the grounds for me to do in the barn or something. You know, I wanted to do something in the barn because I figure if I can just get my foot in the door, I can convince you that I'm the man, you know, if I can just get in the door. But all he had was this, it was like a little computer project that was supposed to last for like a couple of months. And, man, I'm sitting here working on that computer project, and I'm looking out the window watching the bulls, and then I'm watching the guys, and they're on their four-wheelers, and everybody's training and doing all this stuff, and I'm sitting there, you know, plucking on this computer. And one day he's like, hey, man, you want to go to lunch? Which was nothing out of the ordinary. We went down to the Mexican food place. He goes, man, my trainer or my handler, you know, at the time, he says he's quit on me. How would you like to be my flank man? I was like, what?
Ooh, yeah.
That was the only reason I stopped by. I wanted to do that. And we immediately went back to the arena and started running some bulls in there and started flanking and started bucking some bulls. And I probably haven't had a day since, and this was back in mid 2012, and I probably haven't went a day without my hand on a bull some kind of way.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow.
So when Billy got out of it, you kind of took over like his embryo breeding type deal, right?
Well, actually, I didn't. When Billy sold out, I mean, he actually sold everything. He sold. He didn't actually have too many embryos or anything left in the inventory, but there were a handful that were left with the auction, and then most of those bulls were owner bulls, and they just did different things. It's just by that time, and what I was doing the whole time I was there, I was trying to put myself out there and build my reputation to show people that I know exactly what was going on. And I think some of those stamps were like a couple of those bulls we raised that went out to Vegas and win the $500,000, you know, in a trip. So that just kind of proved that, hey, you know, this guy's a real deal and he can actually do it. And I mean, and I beat the pines. I mean, I made phone calls and said, hey, you know, Billy's getting out. You know, I'm staying in. Are you interested? And Billy as well, I talked to him about it. And he's even talked to a few. He was like, look, I have the utmost confidence in Dennis that he can continue on with what he's doing. And, you know, would you like to go with him? And then there were a handful that actually, you know, stayed. For the most part, some actually just kind of just left out of the business total because it wasn't necessarily the bulls that they just really liked. Billy brought a real nice atmosphere to everything. Yeah. You know, whenever we'd put on those events, I mean, we'd spend $1 million a year just putting on events, you know, not making $1 million, spending $1 million on events. So, I mean, we had the margarita machine, the mariachi bands, the catering, the whole 9 yards. So whenever you bought into the exclusive genetics program, all this kind of came with it. Then all of a sudden, when Billy left out, now you're stuck with Dennis, and all we got is a taco and a cold beer on the back of the truck. So,
yeah, the mariachi band
the mariachi band's gone. So, you know, so for those who were like, you know, who wasn't really, you know, into all that, and they just strictly just wanted to, you know, with the bulls, they just kind of, you know, just hung in there with me. But like I said, I never let off the gas and trying to, you know, prove myself out there from a business perspective, and doing different things to reach out to people, sort of like the whole Vegas deal, just going and doing the visits and the news deals. And heck, I was talking to people in the lobbies, you know, about bulls, and I purposely leased or rented one of those 4-seater gators, a mule. Yeah. So whenever I met somebody, I was like, hey, you want to come on out here and take a trip to the bull house? And I take people out there that never even knew before, take them out to bull housing, and man, they're writing me letters and inquiries about buying bucking bulls, and that's what excites me. Just kind of keep going and just kind of keep pushing. Yeah, you know, don't even have a goal. Not saying I just want to be the richest or whatever, because it's not about that. It's just one foot in front of the other.
Dennis
just don't
Davis
let off the gas.
Governor, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I was city council for 4 years.
There is a background.
Yeah,
just go to it. Just put it for president. Let's go with it.
So I always like to ask stock contractors, you know, what's their approach to handling the bucking bulls? Because everybody does it different. They some handle them not hands-on. They don't hands-on them themselves, or some like to hands-on them themselves, or they just want to have the name behind them.
Right. Well, my approach has always been is people look at me crazy sometimes. I said, when I look at bulls as like people, like children. They all have different attitudes. They all have different physiques. They have different personalities. And you have to handle them in such. And as first and foremost, they can't understand what you're saying. They don't know, you can holler and cuss and doing all that kind of stuff because, we all kind of do it.
Humans are verbal people,
right? We call them SOB sometimes, but they don't know that they're an SOB. They don't know that you call them SOB. So I just believe in just quiet, and I believe in motion, and I really love to work by myself when it comes down to actually working the bulls because, you put two people walking down the alley, that bull standing at the end of the alley and he's looking, he doesn't know where to take the command from. And he's not taking the commands on verbal commands. He's taking commands on your body language, and so I got a guy right here, he's scared about to jump on this side of the gate. And then he got me over here scared about to jump on this side of the gate. And he's ready to smoke both of us as opposed to just me by myself, quiet, ease on down the alley. Get over to the left, he comes over to the right, goes where I want him to go. That's my approach.
That's what I love about it when you're doing it by yourself. When you're moving a 1,500-pound animal by yourself, and it's so peaceful and peaceful.
It is. I mean, it's relaxing and it's soothing for somebody who's really passionate about it. Now, Twisted Steel, that's another deal because. Man, he just really made a butt out of me. We were had the cameras out there and everything, and his pen was directly across from the sand pit. Yeah. So I'm thinking, I kind of popped my collar and opened up the gate and walked in there with that sucker and gonna put him back in his pen. Oh man, he put his head down and he did not stop. I had to turn a flip like a somersault over the deal, and he actually hit the panel trying to get after me. I'm like, whoa, so much for the bull whisperer or trainer or whatever they call it. Yeah, so that was, but it's just like I said, just a matter of getting to know them. But that's the approach. It's more of a hands-on, just eye to eye. Let's see what we're all about.
That's what I like about bulls is each one of them have their own personality and difference. I mean, like you can go in Twisted Steel's pen and go around him and get around him, no problem. And then you put him over there in the sand and he gets excited. When he gets excited, you need to approach with caution.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and then some other bulls wouldn't even pay, never mind, and some of them you go in the pen and get them out of there and they'll try to kill you.
Yeah.
Or, some of them you can pet and love on. But that's just a different, that's what I love about it, is just a different personality so much.
Yeah.
So I guess the big question is, how did you get with Dana White? I mean, most people probably.
That was kind of one of the. It was a cool kind of coincidental deal. They have the UFC fights, obviously, all over the United States, and also they have a like a reality show. It's called Looking for a Fight, and so whenever they're having like a big major fight in a city, they'll go to that city beforehand and have like some amateur type fights, looking for, special type fighters. But so whatever state they go to, they try to develop that looking for a fight, a theme around that state. And believe it or not, they Googled bucking bulls, rodeo, bull riding, and we came up. And so his people reached out and we got them all fixed up. They wanted to come out and do some filming and had a couple of guys get on, including Dana, himself. And when it was all said and done, they're sitting there with dirt in their mouth and spit and slobber because they just got their butts just dusted. And he's like, man, this is cool. What do y'all do around here? I was like, So kind of gave him the spill and exactly what goes on around here. And he was like, well, can I buy a bull? And you sure can.
You betcha.
Yeah, and he's been just enthusiastic about it ever since. I mean, that was back in 2016.
And Dana actually got on a bull.
Yes.
What bull did he get on?
Oh man, we had to go out and get a jump kicker.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind we're a training company or a training program, so everything we had for the most part bucked. I mean, they might not buck compared to somebody else, but I mean everything bucked, experienced riders only.
Beginner,
Too much for just somebody, a reality show person.
Yeah.
And so we went out and got like a jump kicker bull, and he went out there about 3, and he rode him for about 3. And then he kind of got in between the horns and got stepped on.
No.
Oh yeah. You haven't
seen the video?
Yeah.
It's
Hey, maybe we'll get that and show it for our viewers.
Yeah, I think he ended up going and had to get checked out because he was pretty sore there.
I think he wound up maybe breaking some ribs or something that.
He gained some respect for the sport real quick.
Definitely. So he's sitting there grimacing and holding his side, but he loves it. He really wants to.
And he's in shape. He works out all the time.
Oh yeah,
he
does.
Well, that ought to show you it's not a strongman sport.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he'll FaceTime me sometime, and he's on some kind of treadmill or a bicycle or something, sweating like a hog, just sitting there. Hey, buddy. He just getting after it, make me feel bad,
And he's even got like whiskey or company, is that right?
The Howlerhead whiskey. Yeah, the Howlerhead whiskey. It's actually pretty good. I'm not even that type of drinker, but I mean, I will take a shot every now and then if it doesn't come back up, if I can keep it down. And that's pretty good. So what we did, we just looked at it, it's like, okay, Dennis, you're on the road 48 weekends out of the year. And so I've got this 36 or 32 foot, aluminum Elite. That's just all I have on there is just my name across the top of it, Dennis Davis Bucking Bull. So we decided to wrap it. And actually, I didn't have a design in mind, and he didn't really have a design in mind either. He was like, well, let's just get done, whatever. So I called up one of those artists, those people who rap, different stuff. And they immediately just looked at the website, and the girl was like, this is what we're going to do. So as soon as you click on the website, it had this black background and the orange letters, the whole Howlerhead monkey up there, and the official UFC, whiskey. Yeah. And so they took that and basically just wrapped the trailer with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
cool.
Got
the new Pete and new trailer, and new bucking bull. And
did you bring the trailer up here or did you drop her off?
It's the trailer's it's in Ada. Yeah, it's in Ada. I didn't bring the trailer.
Well, we're going to get some pictures here in a little bit with that trailer. For sure, we got to get out there.
Oh, Blake's got to get his catfishing going.
Yeah.
Sit in it. Get my picture for the gram.
Yeah.
So what's the future like for Dennis Davis? What's the outlook look like?
I'm always optimistic, about everything, and always and try to be innovative. I like being on the cutting edge of stuff, like driving all the way up here, being with you guys, because I definitely have confidence and like what you guys are doing. So I'm constantly moving forward, constantly searching, just how to be better. So hopefully, which I already know this, like Twisted Steel, for example, he's been invited to a couple of Unleash the Beast so far. So we're scheduled for Madison Square Garden, and we're scheduled for Houston. And so now it's just a matter of going back to some of these people who've been kind of chomping at the bits, who wants to play at that level. Yeah. There's some people out there, they're not interested in futurity. They're not interested in the bull teams. They want
their name on TV.
They want their name on TV. They want a big time bull. So now we can go back and kind of visit that subject, because like I said, those people are kind of at bay or on hold because there were just no promises.
Right.
And not that there's promises now, but at least there's a line of communication.
Well, sure. You've got a calling card now. You got Twisted Steel that's already invited. And that's the way it was back in the day when I had some bulls and stuff. You had to have that one.
Right.
You had to have that one good one would get you a trailer load of 5 or 6 more on there you could take with it.
Right.
And of course back then they paid trucking and they wanted to keep the trucking down, so they would want you to bring 7 or 8. So that one good one, you could bring 5 or 6 others that maybe that could be as good, but just not as proven yet.
Right.
And I guess it looks the same way. I mean, y'all got Twisted Steel, and it kind of opens the door for some of these others. Yeah. Like you was talking about, to bring them in.
Yeah. And those others, and I understand, I mean, they have to be good, and they have to be dependable, but I see some other bulls out there, going up and down the road every now and then. They have some horrible trips, and you kind of wonders, like, man, how did that one slip, in there? Because I know I can dial one in.
Yeah.
And you won't be, disappointed, but just one of those deals, like you said, you just got a line of communication now, and just kind of work it.
And sometimes you just got to pay your dues.
Yeah,
you got to kind of pay your dues and go through the rhythm and of everything, and then when you get one of them good ones, it seems like the cars just all fall to where they're supposed to be, and then before you know it, you're there.
Well, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I mean, they Googled him up. That happened. That line of communication started there, and everything in life happens for a reason.
Yeah.
When it's your time, it'll happen.
Yeah.
If you're passionate and stay the ground and keep moving forward, it'll all come together, and it's come together pretty good. It sounds like.
I agree with that. First and foremost, because I don't get upset when something doesn't happen, and I try not to get too excited when something actually big happens. Just try to stay right there in the middle, because I understand everything has its has its season, and but I prefer just to get out there and do my due diligence. Matter of fact, when I went to the team finals, that was my first ever team deal that I actually ever had gone to, but I was just a household name to everybody there. Because I was joking around with the news people out there. I said, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this.
There you go.
Yeah, so that was kind of a fun thing. You had to make it fun. So yeah, I definitely agree. Just putting in and doing the due diligence, and just basically just kind of earning the next step, or earning the next spot. That way you can go anywhere with your chest stuck out, and you ain't got to hang your head for nothing or anybody.
Old man told me one time, though, when you own bucking bulls, you need to know two things. You need to know where that front door is and where that back door is.
Right.
He said, and there's going to be nights you're going to strut out that front door. And he said, and then there's other nights you're going to crawl out the back door and hope nobody sees you.
Yep. Absolutely.
So are you looking for more bulls, or because as a stock contractor, like you said, you're always on that cutting edge. So you're obviously always kind of looking for that next big one.
Yeah, for sure. Always. I look at bulls every single day. I get a hold of people, getting videos and sending videos. But yeah, every day, as long as I'm awake, that's basically what I'm doing. Always looking.
I know you're pretty smart too about the breeding programs and everything that's going on with that. Is there any set of bloodlines you see kind of being a little bit more predominant, producing a little bit better? Or
there are a number of bloodlines out there that you see that are really kicking the calves out, and they're really just coming along pretty good. In my case, from a trainer stock contractor standpoint, I've always gone out and purchased bulls for somebody. If you call me and tell me you're interested in a bull, we're going to go find that bull. Find that bull what you want. I've recently just made an investment into some cows here in the last year or so. So I've got a couple of years down the line that I'm going to be working with. Here in a couple of years, I'll have something that I could offer from Dennis Davis can offer. I've got some crazy train stuff, in the works. Mm-hmm. So, of course, like I said, that's down the line. They're just now, they're hitting the ground early this year, about to take them off mamas and see what happens. But until then, even tonight or Saturday night, I'll be looking at somebody else's bull and see if it matches anything that someone has inquired, to me about that they're interested in.
Yeah. So you're still kind of in the brokering business.
Yep.
Yeah. Because what's your opinion on because I'll give you mine and see if you're the same. I think a lot of the futurity calves get overbucked and they don't turn out to be rider bulls very much. Well, I think the bulls that don't, there's the futurity bulls that don't make it, that don't get to go to the show and win, that don't get bucked, that maybe don't turn back, or just not good enough to go win at fraternities. I think them bulls are actually the ones that turn out to be the better rider bulls.
Yeah, and you're right about that, because I really look at that as just two separate types of bulls, two separate groups of bulls. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna have a futurity bull that you want to buck the snot out of and burn him out, if he's still bucking by the time he's 3 or 4, then you're lucky.
Yeah,
whenever you run that first, 2 or 3 trips on a set of calves and you see some potential there, maybe nothing, just lighting the world on fire, then you kick them out and feed them up real good for like a couple years and bring them back.
Breaking over, firing both back feet, and they're kind of looking, and they're getting their front feet off the ground.
Right.
That's what I always look for, is their front feet off the ground, and are they kicking over their head and firing? Are they breaking over with both back feet? Did they have the kind of the side-to-side look? And then also the temperament. Temperament is a lot in one, I think. They don't have to be mean. That's a wise tale. Oh, they got to be mean. And I've had sale barns call me, man, you need to come buy this bull. This is no buck. He's really mean.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, that don't make that don't make a bucker. But
yeah, that's really a negative thing when they're can be negative when they're really mean like that because they're not thinking, they're not settled, they're like us.
Scatterbrain.
They're scatterbrain.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But that's kind of what I look for, and I don't see a lot of the. I don't think there's been a whole lot of futurity calves that's went on and done. I mean, I know Bruiser did fairly good in the futurities, I think, didn't he?
Hey, Bruiser, he was competitive. Yeah. But he definitely wasn't one of those that was setting the world on fire.
And then Long John, I don't think he turned back till they put a rider on him.
Right. And that's the way it normally works. I mean, that's how come we see all these big names when they become 4-year-olds.
Yeah, I think
you start to see these
riding
names.
solo. He did good in the futurities and did good in the classics, and then now he's also a two-time world champion bucking bull. So he's obviously one of the standouts there.
And Whoopah, he was a talented futurity calf, but they never really just had I don't want to say not a handle, just like a program or a system maybe for him coming up through the futurity. And then he finally got with Laramie, and Laramie was able to just kind of get him in line and finish growing him on up and getting him, to buck really, really good.
Yeah. But like you said, there is two different groups there. There's the futurity side and then there's the rider side. And them two don't always mesh together.
They don't. And I think, here at this table in this conversation, we kind of understand that, but that's something that I kind of even, not necessarily a battle, but I have to go back and forth with from the bull owners on the outside looking in, because a lot of times they want to buy and play with a yearling. They want to play and be effective as a 2-year-old, and they want to set the world on fire when you put the first rider on them, and they want them to be a world champion as 4. That just doesn't happen. I mean, it happened riding solo. I mean, I remember when riding solo was born, when Curtis Peoples, had him, and we used to bring him to Border Town, and he was so wild and so crazy. Whenever he got out good, he won. Yeah. Whenever he got out good, he won. That's just how talented he was. And that bull just never let off the gas. And he's probably the only one, him and that bull that's number 1 now, Flying Wired, I think. Yeah. Those two are just...
a little sucker there.
Yeah.
But them guys are going to ride Flying Wired a lot, I think.
Yeah, I believe they probably will. I think that bull's going to be electric, for a while, especially after he starts to get a little bit,
he needs to get some size to him. He looks like his... Yeah, and it's just his age, but it looks like his legs are little sticks. Yeah, yeah. And as high as he jumps and as fast as he moves, I'm afraid he's gonna pop one of them suckers. But he's a bucking sucker.
But a bull like that was kind of almost designed to be a really good futurity bull, which he was a really good, outstanding futurity bull. And then what we do after their futurity years are over, we make this mad dash to try to hurry up and grow them so they can support a rider once they turn 3. But he, like riding solo, I think that bull never just really let off the gas and just still trying to bring it.
I mean, I was a hell of a futurity bull. And then I got hurt and got fat, so I got fat my 3-year-old year, and I come back and I wasn't worth a shit up in the 4 and 5-year-old year.
I think I've always just been an old teen bull. I was just old rider friendly bull. I just just a campaigner, just kind of hung around,
Yeah. Oh man.
How many bulls you got at your place right now?
Right at 30 total bulls, and and I've got a handful of yearlings and 2-year-olds. That the 2-year-olds are still it's kind of hard to really haul a few of them out to Vegas. I mean, when they're 87, 88 point, that's a little bit better than the 85 and 87 slide, but not quite over, over 90. Then I have some 3-year-olds that I have coming on that I'm growing. I have like 6 of those that hopefully mid next year I can kind of bring them on the scene.
Yeah, I remember back when I was raising, I had a bunch of cows and was raising them up, and man, when them babies start hitting the ground, you start looking at them, and you automatically just, not even meaning to, you start going, I think that one's going to buck. Yeah. That I like the way that one looks. That one, that one I like the way he's built or something. Yep. And then, then when you get them in there and you buck them, it's like Christmas. Yeah. Opening your kid on Christmas, just, what's this one going to do? Let's open the gate, Yeah. And that's what I like to watch them, be born. Watch the mama clean them up and then watch them grow, wean them, And then when they make the big show, it makes it all more special.
Yeah, because for the longest, I've always thought, from what I've always saw, is that whenever those calves are born and their hind end is a little higher than their shoulders, kind of if they're long-legged and kind of thick on the back end, oh yeah, that's a bucker, because that's what they always just proved a buck. And then I finally got, I think it was just a couple of years ago, I was like, oh yeah, this bull here, I know he's going to just set the world on fire. Turns out he was the fastest one across the arena. he was talented. I mean, his butt was up above, his hind end was above his front shoulder.
He was set for a racehorse.
He was set for a racehorse. There you go.
He was dragster, had big tires on the back and small ones on the front.
So I said, oh man, well, there goes that theory. I guess we just have to wait and put a dummy on and just see. See what
I always looked at their build to see if they was athletic or not, but I just like the way they looked at me.
Yeah.
When you look at one and he throws his nose up like that and he's looking down you like that and he's not stupid, he's not crazy, that's something. It's got some arrogance to him.
Yep.
And he's got some balls and he's going to stand there and fight instead of that one that's looking like this or going like that. But that one that's standing there with his nose up and look at you like that,
just alert. Yeah.
That was that was one of my little pet peeve, little things that I liked. I was like, I might give him a couple extra trips.
Yeah. And it helps, especially when it comes down to the shoot. If they're alert and they're aware and they're mentally stable in the shoot, I mean, that could be the difference between 1 and 2 points. I mean, he could be 90 pointer if he's standing there, or 87 because he's
ran somebody down the gate, or get a re-ride on, or hips himself and he's got to go the other way or something,
Right.
Yeah. But
so did you bring the heat to Ada this weekend? It's the first one kicking off their little winter series.
I'd say a little bit of the heat. One of them I would say is pretty heated. Probably the Heart and Soul Bull. Kind of want to get some trips. So we've kind of slimmed him down a little bit. Just for Kicks, Dale and his wife, and that bull definitely needs to be on the trailer. I mean, he's just a bucker. Never been just a dial-in bull, but he's always been really good on the right. Always scored a bunch of points. I mean, he's 93, and as a derby, and like saying classic, started gaining weight, but never lost his enthusiasm to just really want a buck. I think it was just a matter of finding his happy median when it comes down to his weight and his physique. So hopefully he's gonna, he'll turn it up a little bit. I've got him in the draw. I didn't bring my bull rider to put on him. I put the bull in the draw. So we'll see. He may end up with him. I wish he would, because he's about the same size. I just don't want to knock my rider's head off. So
So. That's a pretty neat little deal they put together down there. LJ done it last year. Dennis and Jan's going to run it this year. It's a neat deal, and if a bull owner, or if you're not a bull owner, if you just love bulls, they need to go down there and visit. It's kind of a little secret down there in Ada, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
On some Saturday nights, and you never know who's going to show up and get on.
That's right.
You never know what bull's going to be there. That was a cool thing of the Border Town deal back in the day, going up there to Border Town. I announced it a few times, but sometimes I just went because I want to see what the next up-and-comer was. See if I could pick that next, in 2 years, is that bull going to be the deal? And got to see riding solo in them age groups coming up through there. But Ada's a cool little deal, and our plan's to slip over tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen. But
yeah, it is. I was excited to come up here. When I first got the notification about it, I said, yeah, for sure I want a bull team, and give me a little time, and we're going to look at our young ones and see what we got or what we want to enter. So
for sure. And you're going back to Vegas here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, going back to, I got 2 teams. Actually, one of Dana's teams is out, and Just for Kicks and J Bar M, which is a gentleman from Iowa named Jerry McGee. He's really passionate about it. That guy there, and Jerry, if you're listening, I already know you're looking at other bulls to buy. He wants to so bad, because he's always asking me about, so you're going to New York? Yep. And I've got space on the trailer. Oh, you do, huh? So yeah, we're gonna. He's gonna arrive. Those owners are all gonna arrive on the 10th. I'll probably get there on the 10th in that evening. So we'll get together and have a dinner, and then just start rocking and rolling the next morning.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little event we're having in Las Vegas at Resort World.
Oh yeah.
LJ Jenkins is putting it on. 50,000's up for grabs. We call it the best little secret in Las Vegas. It's free to get in, so if you guys want to come hang out, see Dennis and his bulls, you need to come out to Resort World that Monday and Tuesday, 10th and 11th, or 11th and 12th, and starts at 1 o'clock. Because that's another one of those fraternities on them bull team deals that's there's some heat there. It's a pretty good bull ride.
Oh yeah, they actually bring the heat, and they bring in the riders. I think
the big names.
Like John Crimber, he kind of set him afire last year. They brought him along, and the good thing for those guys, like the guy that's with me, all those NFR guys are over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They come over there during the midday, and they're pulling ropes and stuff. And then you have those guys who are on the Unleash the Beast tour. They're kind of like in between seasons. They're coming on and they're getting on for us. I mean, but like you said, it is the best kept little secret there. I mean, Ezekiel Mitchell came and he was on my team last year.
Yep.
For the second day. So
Lockwood was there.
Yep.
I mean, it's like watching around the PBR World Finals right there. I mean, there was a lot of big names there,
especially that first night.
And like the kid you got with you today, I mean, they get to see them. They get to see them bigger guys and hang out with them bigger guys, and then they get to look. They get to look, and them guys start befriending them and bringing them on, and everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And it's a cool little deal.
Yeah. And they got to listen to you announce. That's the only.
It'll be okay. It'll be all right.
Well, Blake, you're a so-called bullfighter, so
I am.
Yeah,
Just because your mama bought you a buckle don't make you a bullfighter.
LJ probably called me a bullfight.
We'll call him when we're done. We'll ask him.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Well, Dennis, man, this is the second time. Second time you've been here. Right. We'll get this one aired though in about 3 weeks, so I promise it'll be out pretty quick. We're not gonna lose this one again. But shoot, we got to get you back on after Vegas, man. Get back and kind of get us going and get a couple big shows under your belt and see how it's going.
For sure,
that'll work. I'm looking forward to it, and whatever I can do to help, man.
We know we all appreciate you sponsoring this thing and help makes it go and get the word out. And man, I tell you what, if y'all guys got bulls for sale, Dennis is buying obviously, or he's got buddies that are buying, and he's always looking. Or if you got something to sell and whatever, just shoot, give him a holler. He might be able to get him sold for you. But anyway, guys, if you like what you're seeing, go like us, follow us, give us a subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. And until next time, we'll see you then.